Okay folks, the purpose of this is to just produce a super simple lure using stuff from Temu that you could fish behind a bombard afloat, and it will cost you so little that you can fish it anywhere and not care whether you lose it. So I've got an Aberdeen hook here that I took out of my normal tackle box. You've probably got the same. This thread is some sort of synthetic. It is fly tying stuff, so you can get it on the internet. And there's his 2 foot of thread. Now you could use fly tying vise and everything else if you really want to, but if you haven't got it, and I have got it, but we're going to try and tie one without. So this would be just something you can do with hook, thread. These are hair extensions, party hair extensions from Temu. They come in every colour you can imagine, and they're super cheap. And then a little bit of flashy stuff. This has come from Keen's, just to give it a little bit of flash. And we'll tie up something really simple without using any equipment at all, really. And the other thing you might need is some nail varnish, because obviously in the middle of this you might need to stop and do your nails, but you can use this to hold it all together. Now if you want to see how to tie real flies for bass, the best you're ever going to see in your life, go over to Facebook, look up Darren Jackson, and that boy ties the most amazing flies in the world. But for our purposes, we got our 2 foot of thread. This is pink, so it will give it like a pink body. Going to lay a bit along the hook, and we're going to take the other bit and start winding it over the top in nice close turns. So you've got that trap down there. Just keep going, give yourself a nice little pink body, because the fish will be able to see that through. Wind it on nice and tight. This just gives you a bed for the other stuff to stick to, really. So we could reasonably just go halfway, and then you've got that. And then we're going to throw a half hitch. I don't remember how to do him. Turn him around like that, put him over the top, pull him up tight, throw another one on, pull him tight. Right, there we are, he's sitting there. Now you don't have to worry about that bit, just leave it there. Now your bait fish, generally darker on top, lighter underneath. So what we're going to do, I'm going to put that there for a second. We're going to take, say, this nice pink stuff, take a piece out, like so. Your bait fish are usually sort of fish we normally use in 2 to 3 inches long. So we cut a piece 2 to 3 inches long. Now he's going to go underneath. We'll take that unruly one out. So we lay him on the hook underneath, pull him back so he's clear of the eye, and we take a couple of turns over the top to trap him, and then we're going to position him half and half. Make sure everything's in line. So, and then we're going to trap him in nice and tight. Yes. Number 2. Get over there. There's nothing fancy about this, because it is just a lure for bass. It's basically a mackerel fly. And we're going to tie it up super simple. Like. We've got a nice pinky underbody. And then we'll put him there, because we're going to put a little bit of flash into him. So we're going to cut off this. Not much. You do not need much. Less is more. We'll have a bit to go in the middle, as it were. Say 2 inches. Snip. And this time we're going to lay this on top of the hook, like so. Take a couple of turns to trap him, like so. And then we're going to just pinch everything there and lay him on top. So now you've got this effect with the flash. And we can chuck in a couple of hitches to hold it in place. So now he's not going to escape. And we've got simple, simple, simple fly like that. So now we're looking like that. Now we want something darker for the back. So we'll go over to this one, which is just a smoky grey. Again, about 2.5, 3 inches long. And we're going to snip him like so. And he's going to go on the top. And now we've got a really simple, simple, simple fly. So now I'm going to put a whipped finish on him, because that's the strongest he's escaping. So much easier if you've got the vise. So lay the end along the hook, take the bit that's around and go over the top once, twice, 3 times, do as many as you want, 3 or 4, 5, whatever. And then pinch that lot, grab that end, pull it through. So, now, I know it's rough as 10 bears. If you fish that behind a bombarder, you've got your very, very basic fry pattern there. And then we get our nail varnish like so, which is, it has to be said, ridiculously expensive. And then give everything a good soaking, like so. So there you have a very, 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 very quick, cheap, super cheap. Those Temu bits and bobs. My mate bought Stuart Mears, and there was so much of it for 13 quid that he gave me half. So obviously each colour he had double that amount. And they came in red, they came in pink, they came in, in fact there's a stack of them there, look. Every colour you can possibly imagine, and they're very useful. It's all synthetic, so nothing rots. So there you've got your super duper simple fly. If we put him to one side, it's also on Temu. If you really want to take it a little bit further, you can get these fish eyes. You peel them off the back packing, get one to suit the size of fly, peel them off the back, stick them on the sides of the heads like so, and then you've got something that's a bit prettier, because we all know that a lure with eyes is going to work a little bit better, even if it's just for you and not the fish. So you'd have that. Then you can either just cover the eyes and the head with super glue. You can see in there now that I've actually used UV resin. So UV resin is nice and cheap. Get it on the internet. Comes in a tub like that. You squeeze it out, it's quite thick and gloopy. And then you need a UV torch. You also get on the internet, they're super cheap. And you just run that over the top. A few seconds and it'll set. What I do is run it over the top for a few seconds, and then I stick all the flies in a bit of polystyrene and stick them outside. It doesn't have to be sunny, but there's enough ultraviolet on a cloudy day to set them off rock hard without you making any effort whatsoever. And if it's a sunny day like today, they'll set off in seconds, and then you can easily knock up a box of all different sizes using the same stuff. Just bigger eyes, smaller eyes, whatever you want. Like you've got these surf candies, which would be ideal. The little tiny eyes, a little bit of a flashy body, lovely, chuck them there. We've got slightly bigger, slimmer ones. If you feel you're into territory where the fish are bigger, get a bigger hook. Again, that's UV resin on there, nice and indestructible. And we've got different colours, chartreuse, always good. And you can basically make any size, any colour you want. So you can have this one with the bead chain eyes. So you'll sit that way up with the hook point up. So that's perfect if you're fishing the surf, either with a bombarder or with a fly rod, or even you can make these a lot heavier. Use a very light spinning rod and just cast them as they are as jigs and bounce them across the bottom, because they'll always land that way up. You won't snag. So literally you can go from big mackerel patterns to little tiny fry, sand eels, anything you want in between, any colours you want, white ones, with eyes, without eyes, it doesn't matter. For each one of those is just a hook and some Temu bits, and yeah, those are perfectly good lures. Cost you next to nothing, pennies. So if you're fishing rocks, weedy places, around docks, whatever, or anywhere where you want a lightweight lure, so you can fly fish with them, cast them with a fly rod, or use them behind a bombarder. I think I did a video with bombarders. It's simply a clear plastic weight, for want of a better word, where it sinks very slowly, and you can get floating ones, and you just tie a 6-foot leader or a 4-foot leader, or wherever you fancy behind it. Fish it off a spinning rod. You can get them that way, half ounce, up to 2 ounces, I think. So you can cast them a long, long way, and that will be trailing along behind. If you look on YouTube, you'll find loads of videos of people catching very successfully on it. So all this video was for was to illustrate that you can make your own lures, make them as fancy as you want, but that will catch fish. That's the basic, very basic sand eel. And like I say, if you find Darren Jackson on Facebook, he ties bass flies that, well, they make these look like pants, and I think these are not too bad. The stripes there are put on with a permanent marker, nice and simple. So you tie your fly first, put your stripes on afterwards. If Darren tied that fly, it would look so much better. You could put it on the cover of a magazine. So go check him out. Or if you just want to catch fish, go on Temu, get yourself some stuff, tie some stuff. You could get a cheap fly tying vise like this one that I tie all my flies on, and make your life much, much easier. And then all you would need is a bobbin holder for the thread, and that'll make your life even easier. And then you've got your basic fly tying kit. The vise, the bobbin holder, the thread, a pair of scissors, some nail varnish, or the UV, whatever you want to do it, however far you want to take it. And you can tie up your own lures, lots and lots of them. You'll never be afraid of losing a 20 quid Rapala if you use one of these. You can mix and match then for any conditions: rough water, coloured water, really quiet, flat water, slow retrieves, tiny flies, big flies, bushy flies, fat flies, skinny flies. You can make crab imitations, shrimps, prawns, whatever you want. And you can fish them at damn near any speed, because the fish can overtake anything that you fish, and you can also fish them really, really slowly. I know it's the Americans like to fish things like this under a float, a weighted float. Bit like the bombarder, but they don't bother retrieving. They just give it a jig now and again, and the fish will still take them. So, don't know, could be useful. I certainly use them, and I wouldn't be without them. So, there we are. So, there is a simple way to make your own lures. So, if you like it, like it. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. If you want a cup of tea, go and have a cup of tea and a lie down. But summer's come in. We'll need our lures. And the cheaper the better. That's what I say. Ta-ta for now.